Hey everybody, Tekking here, filming this review at 9:55 at night. Hey, take what you can get, right? And it's anyone that's been following my Twitter and my fan page already know this, but I started college this past week, and that would already be kind of a set of frustrations and exhaustion already from that, and I am very much so. But I also had it planned out for like the review. I'm like, okay, Wednesday I get out of class at this time, go home and film it, and then it just slammed into me sideways on the highway with this random, delay for the chapters and everything. I had a whole different video about that. But anyway, because I'm in college right now, I decided to cut some stuff out of the review in order to save time and make it easier on myself for editing. So, from now on, we're going to be cutting out all Call That Shit dances, Ain't Nobody Got Time for That gags, rad teching. Dude, what the hell? Sorry, man, you just weren't pulling the numbers. Also, no more worshipping our Dark Lord and Savior, the Great Old One Cthulhu. Aw, dude, what the hell? Truly is a dark day, but hey, you need to make accommodations. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 594, entitled Rub Dolls. It's one of those glorious chapter titles that I don't need to give, any kind of commentary on it. I don't need to make some kind of joke or sexual innuendo. It's right there. Kubo must realize that I have a lot on my plate right now. He's like, you know what, Tekking? I'll give you the chapter title for free this week. There you go. I could have just did a Marching Out the Zombies 5, but I'll make it easy for you this week, buddy. Alright, so chapter continues on where we have Mayori stabbing zombie Gaia directly through the chest with his Ashisogi Jizo, which he releases the Shikai, which makes it more of a, I don't know if it's just because it's taking shape or whatever, but back when he used it against Uryu, which I think was the last time he used his Shikai, I can't recall any other time after that because he jumped right to his Bankai with style, but Ashisogi Jizo seems much more like, much more transparent or, what's it called, intangible, I should say, like a spiritual form of it, not actually a solid metal, but regardless, it probably carries all the same effects that it always did. It stabs the enemy, it makes them, paralyzed, but also keeps the pain sensors and nerve endings intact, so therefore they can still feel all the delightful pain of whatever Mayori's going to do to them. So this renders zombie Guy even more immobile than he already was after losing the bounce. So, it's just like Mayori's just like jamming it in deeper. He already messed up his sense of time and his equilibrium, stabbed him with Ashisogi Jizo, immobilized his movements, kept his pain receptors, and now pulls out a syringe. I have no idea what the fuck this thing's filled with, but zombie Guy, in this state he's currently in, remember, is basically an unstoppable killing machine under the control by Giselle with the sole purpose of just slaughtering Shinigami. And he's still freaking out over what Mayori's going to do with him. Just the fact that maybe some semblance of memory in Zombie Guy's mind, knows who Mayori is and knows when he has him pinned down on the ground, completely immobile, pain sensor still intact, and he pulls out a syringe. It's time to maybe freak out a little bit. And sure enough, after Mayori injects him with it, his screams begin filling the entire page. I love that. It actually stretches down through the panels of how much this guy's in pain. And we don't exactly see what happens. We just see this black, weird, cloak just start to envelop zombie Gaia. I don't know if that's actually happening, or maybe that's just an interpretation of the pain he's feeling or something. Maybe Mayori injected zombie Gaia with a serum to turn him into himself, like some Mayori vaccine sort of deal. I don't know. He's making a clone army of himself. That would actually be pretty damn terrifying. But in the middle of zombie Gaia's death throttles, we have three newcomers on the battle: Zombie Giku, Zombie Rose, and Zombie Kensei. Okay. Let me, Kubo, did you seriously, I think I know what you just pulled just now, and that's not a cool thing you did. Did you really just show off all those characters dying or appearing to be dead just so you could bring them back as zombies? Because, alright, I gotta give you props, that was a little bit of foreshadowing, but it's foreshadowing in the sense that we didn't know what Giselle's ability was prior. If we knew Giselle was the zombie before, the second Quincy invasion, like when she was first introduced, we would know right away, every time a character died, oh, they're probably going to come back to life. But we didn't find out about that until chapter 580, I believe, and after that point, Rose and Kensei were already apparently dead. Apparently they must have been pretty good at picking up their clothes, because the last time we saw them, they were all bandaged up on when Asane was trying to heal them, then Gremmy killed them, then they got knocked off the platform, still wearing the bandages, so, all that. Rangiku got her throat slit by King Do. But if that's the point you're going to do, maybe just to bring them back as zombies, maybe to be brought back to humanity by Mayori in some way, that's a little bit of a cop-out there. I mean, that's just like saying, oh man, everybody's dead. Oh, it's cool, we can just assemble the Dragon Balls. Everybody's back to life. Whew, that was scary there for a second. Anyway, Mayori doesn't seem very shaken by this new turn of events on the battlefield. He basically just says that's so sad it's not to the point of being funny anymore, and then just points to the Yarankars and asks them to deal with them. To which we have Luffy, Cheruchi, and Dodoni all charge into the fray after, you know, they were enjoying their little mid-battle snack, while Mayori just has this little side skirmish with Zombie Guy. They're just sitting there chomping on Skittles or whatever the past chapter. I don't know, man. So anyway, we have Luffy confront Rangiku, which is appropriate considering they had a little back and forth slash, and I think there was a thing there between them, you know, when Luffy did his Anentor, you know, tentacle hentai release and he ensnared Rangiku in there. At least it proved he wasn't gay, which, come on, obviously, right, whatever. And then we have Cheruchi fight against Rose, which is a very clever matchup because Cheruchi, of course, is rocking the Death Yo-Yo, and then Rose has his King Shara as a whip. And then Dordoni versus Kensei. I can't really see any huge, compatibilities in terms of battle. It was like the only person left, really. I mean, Grilada might be interesting against Kensei because it's wind-based and he's focusing more on long-range attacks, where of Kensei's Tekken Tachikaze, as we found out from his fight with Master Masculine, is a more close-range battle-type Zanpakuto. So that might be an interesting little exchange there. But that's all we get. Big explosion on the battlefield. We have Mayori taking one more glance at Zombie Guy as the blackness is almost completely encroached over his face. We get the title page of the chapter, Rub Detals. Can't say that with a straight face. And then we cut back to the other side of the battlefield where we have a nice, pleasant cherry blossom wind blowing across the sky. Oh, isn't that so present? And all three Sterners are down for the count. What the f***? Seriously, what the f***? I mean, who else looked at that and just like, okay, Candace gets a pass because she got the shit kicked out of her by Ichigo prior. You know, she got chucked into a wall a couple times, you know, and that's okay. You know, she got that Jetsugo Jujisho. I mean, she healed her arm, but see, she still got beaten down by Ichigo, so I can give her a pass. But no, the 15th, and Colonel Sanders both down. Down for the count, blood pouring out of them. We have no idea what that happened. We have no idea what their abilities were. They're just down. When a character who we don't know a lot about gets defeated, we don't really understand the whole scope of them. I always kind of thought that Colonel Sanders was a bit of a badass considering, oh no, he shot Shunsui in the face. You know, I was thinking he was a little bit scary there. Plus, the last time we saw these two guys, they were both in Volt stanching. And then they get beaten down like this. I'm like, dude, what the H? But, you know, regardless, I guess Byakuya is just that much of a soloer. Okay, I guess I really can't be mad about this because I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite here. I'm being like, back when Rukia was fighting against Asnaut, I'm like, Rukia should be able to defeat Asnaut right away because she trained in the Soul Palace. And then we have Byakuya here and who solos the 3 Sternritter, and he trained at the Soul Palace too. But, you know, the only difference here is, you know, Rukia versus Asnaut, that was a one-on-one fight. This is like, technically it's like 5-on-1 because we also have Loloto and Meninas here who are still standing up in the battle, but apparently, I guess, either these 3 Sternritters were just, I mean, let's disregard Candace. Apparently, I guess, Colonel Sanders and Nanana, whatever their powers were just feeble in comparison to Byakuya's Senbon Zakura, whatever new technique he learned how to do with it. But hell, you could have at least given us a panel or something. I mean, we didn't even know Byakuya was fighting these people. Anyway, though, continuing on, we have Loloto and Meninas standing there, stating that, well, given their powers, it would make sense that they're still standing. Now, Meninas, I can understand because she's the power. She basically, you know, can withstand attacks, and she delivers, you know, she's basically a superhero. Loloto, on the other hand, I'm not so sure. I mean, she was durable as much as any other Sternritter girl. You know, maybe she has Blue Vein and everything, but I can't think of her defensive abilities being much more stronger than, Colonel Sanders or Nanana or Candace, for that matter. She could just eat things a lot. I don't know exactly how that goes. By the way, she has an apple now. I have no idea where she keeps pulling out these random foodstuffs. But anyway, she brings up the fact that, yeah, is that the same guy Asnaut took out in the first invasion? Because he seems to be kicking our asses a little bit of here. But anyway, she brings up the fact that she asks where Pepe went, the fat Sternritter on the Petri dish that's been floating around, which he was the only one that didn't activate his Volt standing last time when they charged in. To which Meninas responds that she doesn't really care because she finds him disgusting anyway. He's, you know, it makes sense, of course. You know, only Sternritter like floating around wearing that wife beater and just the, you know, very lazy attitude. Apparently, he doesn't do any of the walking on his own. So anyway, though, Loloto just states that, well, you know, she doesn't like him that much either. But if he was here, it would have been a much more interesting fight, of course. On the next page, we have Shuhei arriving on the scene, stating to Captain Kuchiki that he's already dealt with one of them. What the fuck is with this? I mean, okay. 10 chapters ago, 10 chapters ago, when 8 sternritters show up on the scene, I mean, I thought it was going to be like Ichigo 8-on-1, I mean, that would have been pretty damn cool, but all the other Shinigami show up, and it's like, damn, this is going to be some epic-ass fights, and then, we cut away, and we don't even get to see any of it, like, not even any lip service, whatever, I don't care. Anyway, Shuhei brings up the fact that, he defeated 1 enemy in the time it took Byakuya to take out 3, so there's a big gap in their power. This is immediately stopped when, all of a sudden, Byakuya just slashes his sword directly in front of his face, deflecting Kazashini, and Shuhei's just looking at him just like, what the hell, Captain Kuchiki, what happened? And Byakuya is looking at him like, what are you thinking? Are you some kind of imposter? Are you a fake Shuhei? What's going on? And to which Shuhei responds by almost slicing off Byakuya's head with Kazashini. And then, this continues on, like Shuhei seems pretty lucid when this is going on. He doesn't seem to be, freaking out that much. He's just like, what are you talking about, Captain Kuchiki? I'm just who I am, of course. I'm just trying to kill you. That's just what I do, man. Don't you know the back and forth between us? So, before you think there's going to be some Tsukishima plot twist all this right here, Shuhei just says to him, but I'm only doing it for Pepe-sama's sake. To which we cut over to the man himself, Pepe, a little bit of distance away from the battlefield with his signature laughter. Just got one hot, just got one buddy, and if my eyes are on you, I'll split your heart in two with my L, the love. Couple of things here. First off, this is kind of a unique twist on this kind of power, because we've seen characters in other series, probably the one I'm going to reference the most, because his power is obviously kind of a blatant ripoff of, is Boa Hancock from One Piece, the Meramero no Mi. We've always had that character, though. It's a very voluptuous woman, and the ability is, like, all men, like, fall, and, like, they can't do anything to her. They're like, helpless before her beauty, like the succubus of mythology. The twist here, of course, is that instead of it's a hot girl with big boobs, it's a balding man floating on a petri dish with honestly a pretty epic beard. And, he's the one that's using basically the Meramero no Mi. He does the same exact thing Hancock does to a T, shoots out the love beam using that, with the exception of, instead of petrifying his opponents, turning them into stone statues, he just, shoots his love beam, whatever it comes in contact with, basically just falls in undevoted, unabashed love for him. Now, this can vary in this chapter, because the way Shuhei was acting, it wasn't like he was acting like romantic love with Pepe, like he wanted to go suck Pepe's dick or something. He just seemed like very admiring love, like he, basically replaced Tozen or Kensei with Pepe. That's like the kind of admiring love he had for him. And yeah, that is kind of a callback to Tsukishima. That's basically what Pepe's ability does. And if the Fullbringers do come back, I'm thinking, yeah, Pepe and Tsukishima might have a good battle, because here's the thing. Tsukishima's ability was not straight up mind control. It was manipulating your mind to make you think that Tsukishima was an ally. And if you really think about it, that's pretty effed up. Just making, erasing memories, copying, pasting, adding new ones, twisting it around to suit the enemy's needs. That's a little bit more messed up than just like, you're my mindless puppet, do what I say. Although this does bring new light to how Jidombo was when he broke into the 12th division. Now, that possibly could have been Gazelle too, but Pepe was there on the battlefield, and if it was indeed Pepe, I could totally see that going down. Like, Jidombo breaks in, and now Akon and everyone's just like, oh my god, Jidombo, what are you doing? I can't. His beard is just too fucking sexy. I need to break everything. For some reason, though, Pepe completely disregards Shuhei and Byakuya. We don't see them for the rest of this chapter, although you could probably imagine how that fight's going to go, unless the love or affection that Shuhei feels for Pepe is enough for him to go into Bankai now. That could be another thing, too. That might give Byakuya a run for his money. But regardless of that, he points his Meramero no Mi beam at Leloto instead. I don't know why. Maybe he just likes to mess with them. I mean, we saw back in his introduction in 543, he was pointing his staff, which I guess he says is my eyes on you. Probably just refers to his staff with the eye on it. He was pointing it at, I believe, Basby and Hashwolf, and Askin was just like, the onlooker's got his eye on you. So I can totally imagine, if that's your ability to make anybody fall in love with you, Pepe would just be floating around the freaking Sternritter Palace, just be like, love me, everybody love me, just to fuck with them, because that's just kind of the guy he is. But anyway, he points his love beam at Leloto, who dodges it narrowly, and instead it hits Meninas dead on. Now here's the difference, though. We had Shuhei, which is kind of a more admiring love, but whenever the, Meramero no beam hits Meninas, it basically, goes into full Gazelle creepy drooly mode, and she basically, wants to suck on Pepe's D. Now, we're gonna do this every time now. We gotta have a weird drooling scene with each one of the Sternritter girls. Maybe Kubo just wants to draw that, I don't know. Anyway, though, regardless of that, she immediately goes, oh crap, she's hulking out, everybody duck! Okay, couple of questions with this. Number one, why did you point your love beam at the Sterners? But I kind of already touched upon that. Number two, why did you feel it necessary to immediately deck Loloto, your comrade, in the face? I mean, if it's one thing, I can imagine if Pepe said to Meninas, oh, now that you love me, my dear, punch her in the face. Like, I don't know. Pepe didn't say a word. Maybe it was just kind of like Meninas, you know, got shot with the love beam, and it's like, Pepe-sama, and then Loloto's right there. She's another woman. She's like, you stay away from my man! Boom! And then just decks her in the face. You know, she's down. That kind of already calls back to what I figured with Meninas. You know, she is all this power contained into one. She's probably going to go, like, full, like, She-Hulk, essentially, so prepare for that in upcoming chapters. It's like Kubo's like, I'm going to introduce all these hot female sternritters, and I'm going to do something for each of them to make them, you know, like, less attractive, you know, make you ashamed for if you jacked off to them or something. It's just like, you know, Gaselle's like, oh yeah, she's not really a girl. She's probably going to be some messed up zombie guy. And then with Meninas, she's going to go She-Hulk. Loloto, well, she's a loli anyway, but she might turn out to be something completely different. And Candace is just a bitch, so that's just what Candace is. Anyway, we end off the chapter with Pepe shouting, you know, going off a little monologue here. He's like, oh, stop it, you two. Just because you love me so doesn't mean you can't fight all over me. Even if everyone dies, there's just no way I'll belong to only one person. Just no way. So, that's the end of the chapter, I guess. A little bit confusing there on a couple of levels. You know, and just more questions than answers, really. What the hell did Mayori inject with Toshiro? You know, how the Arrancar is going to deal with the revived Shinigami? What's the status on, you know, Kensei, Rose, and Rangiku? Rangiku, I mean, we saw her throat slit. I don't know if it's going to be a thing where they've been zombified after death. I mean, with Kensei and Rose, I could definitely say that. Rangiku, I don't know. But just the fact that she's there with Kensei and Rose, who were confirmed dead by Isane, might confirm that she's dead too. But it doesn't matter, because since they're back as zombies, I can guarantee you, Mayori is going to either, you know, subdue them and then with the Arrancars then figure out some way to fix them, and then they're not really going to be dead. That's what I mean by cop-out. Shuhei versus Byakuya, maybe if, like, the love for, you know, that Shuhei has for Pepe might force him, like, oh, I love him so much, I need to use my Bankai now. That might be a cool fight, but that's not what I came here to see. I'm not reading the Bleach, you know, final year Blood War arc, you know, Shinigami versus Quincy to see a battle between Byakuya and Shuhei. Honestly, that would be pretty cool to see. It's just kind of off topic, you know what I'm saying? And as for what's going on now, I don't know. With Pepe and Loloto and Meninas, like, I don't know if this is a fight, if Loloto's going to be back up and just like, bitch, you want to punch me? I'll eat you. I don't know how that's going to go down or what Pepe's deal is. He just seems completely erratic in his behavior. But hey, it's good that we finally learned another letter, so we can add him to the board. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do 100% with him, but I'll post it on my fan page, which brings our final tally up to 4 letters, just 4 that we're unaware of completely. So yeah, I guess my idea for Sternritter, Colonel Sanders being W, Shaz for X. What did I say Pepe was? I thought he was I thought he was the M for the mind, but yeah, kind of the same deal with the love. But yeah, all in all, good chapter. All right, I guess these scans were from Manga Panda. They were a little bit different from what I usually use, which is Manga Stream. I don't know when they're going to be out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, Tekking101 signing out. See you guys.